In the second year of the campaign in 2004, men came forward with their stories, and I'd like to introduce to you Ken from Saskatchewan, who will share with us his story.
The name is Kevin from Saskatchewan. And I'll tell you how I got here. When I was 48, I had a wife, 2 teenage boys. Life was normal. Everything was busy. That year we found out that we unexpectedly were pregnant. It was a shock at first. It's like any other one. But after a while, I got used to it. The idea of having another child, and I was bragging, you know, gonna have another child at my age, you know, I'm pretty special. Towards the end of the pregnancy, we went to just a normal prenatal checkup. Nothing to alarm us anywhere. But that day, the doctor did a test, and he found out our little boy had Down syndrome. And we were near the end of legal abortion. So he told us we had to decide right away if we thought that was an option for us. We were heartbroken, of course. Wife couldn't decide, so she left it up to me. I chose abortion. The doctor was telling us how hard life would be at our age to raise a Down syndrome child. Your head is spinning. And I chose abortion. And I remember sitting there, holding my wife's hand at the hospital bed. The doctor across from her, and he asked, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yes." And he stuck the needle into her pregnant belly. It stopped his heart. And once they were sure he was dead, they induced labor. And the nurse handed me my boy. She asked if I wanted to hold him, and I took him. And I wasn't ready for it. He was a baby, from here to my elbow. Long but skinny, but a full baby, dead. And I held him, and I cried in torment from the bottom of my soul all night. The wife was taken away to look after, and I held him and just cried and howled in this hospital room, holding him. Morning come, you know, they were going to send us home. So the nurse says, "Well, before we can let you go, you have to name him and arrange for a burial," because we were, you know, we're that close to being a legal person. So I named him, and I arranged for a burial, and we took him home with us. They put him in a little white cardboard box, much like a coffin, and we took him home and took him to the funeral home. And that's where all the lies started, eh? You can't tell anybody what you have done, eh? The baby was dead. Everybody thought it was natural causes. But you can't tell your parents, siblings, friends, my sons, no one. You can't tell people that, eh? So as a family, we stayed together for a few years. But after that day, the pain I felt was so great, I honestly couldn't ask my wife once how she felt, because I couldn't take any more. So I just shut down, and your heart turns to stone, and it's not well, but sorry. After the burial, it felt like God, because you lie to everyone, you know, and you feel like God is purposely standing up there punishing you. It was 10 years that I took it as long as I could. Eh? Felt I deserved his punishment because that's the greatest sin you can do. But after 10 years, I couldn't take his punishment anymore. I felt condemned, and I started asking for help, for forgiveness. And I got on my knees by my bed and asked for forgiveness. He might have forgave me. I didn't feel forgiven. So I went with my pastor at the time, and tearfully, we prayed for forgiveness together. But I still didn't feel forgiven. So I kept looking. Finally, I found Rachel's Vineyard. So I got a hold of Elaine behind me here. And it was a year and a little bit before I could get the courage to actually go to her retreat. I knew from the first time I talked to her, that's where I needed to be, but I didn't think I deserved forgiveness. So it took me another year to get there. Eh? But once I did, and I hear, the stories of other people who've been through abortions, feelings are all the same. My trauma is no worse than anyone else's. Eh? But I do know the trauma that you have, that I have, anybody has with abortion, can be taken away. You can be forgiven through Christ. And once you are forgiven, you can start to heal. Eh? And will always remember Samuel. I'll remember the weight of his body in my arm and his fingers. I'll remember him always. But I know there's others out there who think they have done the unforgivable. And I looked a long time to find forgiveness. And I just want anyone out there to know that there is forgiveness, there is healing. And that's why I'm silent no more. Thank you.